Hello, everybody. This is Sun Random Neko, waking up from my nap to greet the world for the day. And by greet, I mean combat the beginnings of seasonal depression by watching a fun and encouraging film about letting go of the past to step forward towards the future by finding the place where you belong in the present. And I know there are many a film that embodies this thematic message, but for this video, the film I'll be talking about is Meet the Robinsons, an underrated classic whose poor reception was the unfortunate result of Walt Disney Animation's reputation taking a solid hit and the stiff competition from other animation studios. Boy Genius Lewis is an orphan desperately searching for a family and a place to belong. After another failed adoption interview, he gives up on ever being adopted and instead focuses on inventing a memory scanner that'll help him find his birth mom. Unfortunately, the scanner's debut ends in disastrous failure. Just as Lewis is about to throw in the towel, a mysterious boy named Wilbur Robinson intervenes. He takes Lewis to the future to regain his lost confidence, and they're unknowingly followed by the villainous bowler hat guy. From then on, Lewis embarks on a time-traveling adventure to save his future with the help of the eccentric Robinson family and learn the important lesson of embracing failure and to always keep moving forward. Meet the Robinsons is a great film that tells an encouraging story with a good balance of seriousness and humor. The humor comes mainly from dialogue rather than slapstick comedy, and I find that this works really well considering the sci-fi aspect of the film. It's witty, enjoyable, and doesn't overstay its welcome by repeating unnecessarily. I especially love the dinosaur minion gag, and the Tom Selleck joke is a hilariously nice touch, considering it was originally meant to be a placeholder, but the filmmakers enjoyed it so much, they actually got Tom Selleck to voice the role. And apparently, the name and face changes for other language dubs, which makes the joke so much better. In addition, the film has a good pace that allows for smooth story progression, with barely any stumbles that could lead you to question why something needed to happen the way it did. In fact, everything happened specifically for the purpose of Lewis's character journey, and the story refused to be sidetracked from reaching its destination, unless it was absolutely necessary for the plot. It also uses the interesting and oftentimes confusing mechanic of time travel, which allows for a bunch of enjoyable hints of foreshadowing to be strewn throughout. That made me slap my forehead later on for not making the connection sooner whenever a twist reveal was made, but in a good way. But the best parts of the film were the characters, as they were what made the story truly special. Lewis is our main protagonist, and boy genius Wunderkind, who despite his prodigious intellect, actually feels like a kid still in the midst of growing up. He's headstrong, impulsive, and doesn't think things through. Once he's got his mind set on something, he's not going to let anything stop him unless that thing is failure. I absolutely love his character journey and how deeply entwined it is with the film's thematic message, keep moving forward, as Lewis starts off so fixated on the past, believing it's the only way for him to have a future. But once he goes to the actual future, he meets the people who help him come to the realization that the best way to achieve the future he desires is to not let the past or his failures stop him from moving forward. And the people who help him happen to be the extensive Robinson family and the nefarious bowler hat guy. The bowler hat guy is the yin to Lewis's yang, so to speak, as he's the result of what happens when someone refuses to let go of the past. He's more than just a comical one-note villain, and I appreciate that the film made him a complex character, and even let him experience some character growth of his own. And the Robinsons are a family full of unique and kooky characters, but the one thing they have in common is their love for each other. I love how supportive the family is of Lewis, giving him the much-needed pep talk of the century. And I greatly enjoyed the friendship between Lewis and Wilbur as well. Also, Carl's the best side character overall, and I love every scene he's in. In regards to production, the 3D animation is pretty good for a film from the late 2000s, which was really all you could ask for from a studio that wasn't Pixar at the time. The characters were all unique, and I liked how expressive they were, making full use of facial expressions and body language, but not to an overly exaggerated degree where there's more focus on one or the other, but an equal balance of both. The voice acting was also enjoyable, with each unique voice fitting their character and making it easier for everyone to stand out from each other. But the best part was the soundtrack. The music was actually noticeable despite the film not being a Disney musical, with each track evoking the right emotions or fitting the context of the scenes they play in. And the song, Little Wonders by Rob Thomas, really enhanced the ending scene as it never fails to get you emotional, and is one of my go-to comfort songs whenever I'm going through a tough time. However, despite how much I've been complimenting this film, that doesn't mean I can't see its flaws, as there are plenty of them, ranging from nitpicky to especially egregious. The nitpicky are just little things that bug me occasionally, like how the Robinsons' eccentricities were a bit heavy-handed, sometimes feeling as if they're only eccentric just to be eccentric. Or how parts of their family tree don't make much sense with the lack of explanation not being as funny as they think it is. Then there's the frustrating parts of the story where Lewis doesn't think about why Wilbur is so insistent he fix his memory scanner, or why the Robinsons say it's so important he returns to his time. Like, I understand why nobody wanted to outright tell him because future consequences and all that, but it was really frustrating to see how Lewis refused to even think about it until everything was revealed to him. Then again, he is still a highly emotional 12-year-old with hyperfixation issues, so I guess it makes sense, but it doesn't make it any less frustrating. And finally, the most egregious flaw in this film comes from its most interesting element: time travel. The film plays really fast and loose with how past actions affect future consequences, as it creates so many paradoxes it makes my brain hurt just thinking about it. Like when Lewis declares he's not going to do this thing so the bad future doesn't happen, but if he doesn't do this thing, then Wilbur won't travel to the past because the time machine won't be stolen. But if Lewis doesn't go to the future, then he'll never make this decision or stop the bowler hat guy from becoming the bowler hat guy, which by doing so also would have led to the time machine never being stolen either. He also wouldn't have traveled to the past, which opens up a whole can of worms regarding the opening scene. And then there's the bad ending and how the Robinsons shouldn't have still been together, as it can be assumed the family linchpin would have been dealt with before then, but that would also lead to the bad ending never happening because the linchpin is necessary for it to happen, that's why it's the linchpin, and I'm just going to stop now before I need a Tylenol or 10. But to sum up a very confusing rant, the time travel mechanic is interesting, but creates so many paradoxes that you're better off not thinking about it and pretending it all makes sense even though it doesn't. Overall, Meet the Robinsons gets an A. It's a great film that manages to balance fun, seriousness, and humor while using sci-fi's most headache-inducing narrative device, time travel. Though the progression of the story is pretty solid, the time travel element, not so much, as its use creates so many paradoxes that would make theoretical physicists foam at the mouth. Which is why it's best to ignore all the implications and consequences that come from time travel shenanigans and focus solely on the heartwarming story about a lonely orphan searching for the place where he can belong by going on a journey of self-discovery where he learns how to let go of the past and embrace failure in order to seize his future, with the help of a unique and zany cast of characters. Because time travel aside, Meet the Robinsons is a well-produced and underrated classic with great humor, a great story, and an encouraging message for kids who need a little hope whenever they're feeling down. And it's a shame this film didn't do better when it was released, as it was unfortunately preceded by the infamous Chicken Little. It also didn't help that other animated films like B-Movie, Ratatouille, and more came out during that year, giving Meet the Robinsons some stiff competition. But in the wise words of Walt Disney, it's best not to look backwards for too long, because failure shouldn't be an excuse to stop trying, but instead an encouragement to keep moving forward. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Reminder that this is just my opinion, so you can take it with as many grains of salt as you want. I know mine either way, and would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and comment which film you'd like me to give my 2 cents about next. This is Some Random Neko, going off to continue sleeping through my Thanksgiving dinner food coma now. Don't forget to keep calm and just meow.